Welcome, dear listeners of Dice Scum. We have a very special episode today. And you see, it's going to be a break from our normal episodes because normally we have kind of standards about this stuff, but since because the stuff we're looking at has no standards, neither will we. Welcome to Homebrew Hell. and my fellow commentators are, starting from our recorder.
I'm Adam, and I almost started this episode without my voice again.
We have our others our other favorite tentacle expert.
Randall, I'm here.
And finally, we have who we used to call Fish, but does he want to call himself anything different, or is he still just Fresh Fish?
I'm just here for a good time, or a bad time, I guess, in this case. But I just go with Fish. This is my name from now on. It's fine.
And with that introduction out of the way, let us jump into this dumpster fire.
To give you an idea, the Diopsid and I read I currently have Bloodfeast on. The Diopsid and I actually read this together, and I do seem to remember he had to leave at one point because it was frustrating him to read. He wasn't angry, it was just more...
I suppose for one kindness of this, it's at least just a martial discipline and not an entire class.
You haven't read what the maneuvers do.
I haven't yet.
And for those of you not versed in the esoteric splat books of 3rd edition D&D, maneuvers are basically weeaboo fighting magic. They're your super special anime technique.
And it's awesome.
And I'm saying this as a guy who likes the Book of Weeaboo Fighting Magic.
The Book of Weeaboo Fighting Magic was a kind of their attempt to test out 4th edition mechanics, and it was critically needed for martials because, again, the big problem with 3.5 was martials were nerfed way too hard in this edition. While casters
fighter, a quadratical caster.
It's not even linear, though. It's more like you plateau by level 6.
Thank you, Monty Cook.
So, Blood Feast. It's a 3.5 martial discipline, so this would be like the 10th super secret sword that no one knows about. Designed by those who survive of blood, the Blood Feast discipline learns how to weaponize their own blood and the blood of others by opening grievous wounds for which vitality can leak through.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 uses of blood in the opening sentence.
Dear viewers, we are not recommending this as a drinking game because we do not want to be liable for alcohol poisoning.
By the way, this is the first sentence. There's many more to go. When the students of the Temple of the Nine Swords went out into the world, it was inevitable that they would face danger, such as the story of the vampire hunter Ahab Hawthorne.
Oh god, that sounds like some sort of bad colonial name.
A crusader
Ahab Hawthorne, the one of the lesser known signers of the Declaration of Independence.
I'm Abe.
Details. We'll be here all day. Oh, also, maybe it's just a little thing, but since we're not even into it, the author's name is Elijah Kuhn. Yes, Elijah-Kuhn.
Actually,
Elijah.
No, it's Eiji-kun.
Eiji-kun. Again, I'm seeing it, and all I'm thinking of is Elijah Craig, which is a really good brand of whiskey. But
we're not being advertised by that, so let's continue.
Okay.
A crusader on a mission to take down a vampire, not a vampire, a vampire lord whose name has been lost.
Yeah, it wasn't important.
His name was Jim. His mission ended in failure, but not death, as the vampire hunter was turned into the thing he hunted himself, thus becoming the Daywalker. His lord found his brand of fighting style fascinating and insisted on learning it. And between the two, they continued to battle and formulate a style of their own, the style known as Blood Feast. If you're groaning at this, I can't wait until you get to the mechanics.
I've made a terrible mistake.
You have. At some point, it is said that one of their fights became fatal through accident, whoops, or trickery, and Hawthorne was released from his service, where he went out and taught the Blood Feast to others. Blood Feast is as extraordinary as it is supernatural, and best suited for crusaders and sword sages. They focus on self-buffs through the augmentation of their blood, and the slow bleed or violent release of blood in others. They even possess a mastery over life and death few within the martial field can handle. The weapons associated with this discipline are those suitable for drawing blood: daggers, falchions, kukris, longswords, rapiers, scimitars, scythes, whips, and piercing polearms, such as spears. Practitioners must know where and how to cut the body, and thus the skill associated is heal, wisdom. Rather than martial lore, they used heal.
I mean, there's kind of a logic to it, but filtered through. Greg, what anime is this based on?
I'm getting
I find it
Naruto
the slightest
vibes
bit
or
insulting
Hodoko
that
no
you're assuming that I know. Yeah, I know what you're asking. And the truth is, this is literally so generic that it could be anything.
Fist of the North Star or Naruto's Hyuga fighting style, the Juken, I would say.
I mean, this is...
No, dude. Like there was generic before. Like you could even say this was Hellsing for if you want to get really generic.
Yeah, it's just generic weeaboo thing.
It's a minor complaint.
No. Generic anti-hero thing. Generic anti-hero.
I just want to know why it's fine for Crusaders and Sword Sages, but not Warblades. It's like
I think the idea is because Sword Sages tend to be the most
Oh.
mystical of them, and Crusaders are powered by a deity of some sort.
I'm good to say this might be a ripoff of BlazBlue, but at this point, who knows?
It might be. This was made in 2013.
Oh.
A Crusader or Sword Sage, I like how he cites the book you need to know, may replace one of his disciplines known with the Blood Feast discipline. Game mechanics of Blood Feast, available to Crusader and Sword Sage. Discipline skill, heal, wisdom. One must know where to cut to bring out the most blood. Discipline weapons. We already read these, so I'm not reading them again.
Oh, well, I mean, Scythe is pretty edgy. That's awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm surprised it didn't give him sickles either.
Probably just forgot because no one uses sickles.
Save 10 plus pure maneuver level plus con modifier. I think he meant initiator level, but who fucking knows at this point?
Legacy weapon, flagellation, and impaler, whatever those are.
Not edgy at all.
I think a type of whip and just a fucking sap. I don't know.
Maneuver granting item, the Bloody Fang Mask.
They're just dollar store vampire teeth.
Discipline feat, invigorated blood. Tactical feat, heart and vigor.
By the way, yes, you can click them and it'll take you to other links. That's the pain about Blood Feast. It will be a magical journey, and we could literally just do homebrew hell on this.
Do we want to read the items or just leave them? Because I'm looking at the Bloody Fang Mask.
No. Let's move on.
Okay.
Don't think about it, fish.
Oh no.
Special. Many maneuvers rely on attacking blood-bearing creatures. This is a creature with blood or a blood analog like sap.
So they can conveniently attack plant-based creatures.
I'm gonna make these plants bleed.
This usually excludes oozes, most undead, except vampires, constructs, and elementals. The initiator must also be a blood-bearing creature or have a diet of blood.
I mean, zombies eat flesh, which has blood in it. Does that count?
Yeah, probably.
Knowing this writer, yes. Anything that eats flesh, even if it's a golem powered by human flesh, yes.
Undead often use blood feet, especially vampires. Gee, who would have thunk it? For undead, replace Constitution with Charisma when applicable.
I mean, I'll give Eiji-kun this. At least he kind of thought through this a little bit before writing it.
Treat blood-bearing non-living constructs what few there are as undead. So the blood golem, I think.
I would also say brain golem. That also exists.
That thing is that this seems like this was made by someone who actually knows how 3.5 works.
It was
The-
not, and you'll see he does because, well, we'll get to the maneuvers.
May choose to take the ability damage and burn some of these. Okay. All right. So, So there's a minimum level of competence.
Oh, not until we get to the maneuvers.
Okay.
Speaking of,
So, maneuvers of the Blood Feast discipline. First level maneuvers. Bloodhound. It's a stance. You gain scent for the purpose of finding blood, as well as being able to identify blood and track creatures, giving you basically some ranger's ability. Deathstroke. Boost. Your next attack gains a higher critical chance, especially if the enemy is already weakened. I'm going to quickly open that because it does actually explain it. When you activate this maneuver, your critical threat range on your next attack made by the end of your turn increases by 1. This is added on after effects such as keen or improved critical, by the way. If the opponent has 50% HP or less, that critical threat range is expanded by 2 levels. And if they're at 20% HP or less, it's expanded by 3. So,
dear.
And then he tries to explain the math, but technically with 3.5 edition, I think you'd be basically at Disciple of Dissipator or crit fishing build, i.e. you can crit on like a 9. Red Terror Strike, your next attack deals bleeding damage. I'm just going to quickly see how much bleeding damage. Oh, it's 1 point of bleeding damage per 2 initiator levels of extra bleeding damage, so you just do an extra 10 damage per round. And it stacks, I believe. Keep in mind, these are level 1 maneuvers. These are what you can start with.
Slayer's Gambit. Stance. When you are in this stance, you lose health points each round in exchange for additional damage. Staunch the Flow. Counter. Stabilize while dying and stop bleeding effects.
Basically, instantly, I'm not dead yet. You can't kill me.
Strike. Ignore some natural armor bonus to AC with your attack and hurt those without enough natural armor.
Let me read that out. You make a normal melee attack. You ignore a number of points of natural armor equal to your initiator level. Equal to your initiator level. If you ignore all their natural armor, or they don't have any natural armor bonus, you deal an additional point of damage per initiator level.
This doesn't sound broken.
Okay, so if you're a level 20 initiator, like a level 20 crusader, you just deal an extra 20 points of damage.
It's like having
God forbid you fought anything, and God forbid, let's say you fought like a demon or something with high natural armor.
But don't worry, you need to have one other Blood Feast maneuver to use it, so it's not totally broken.
Oh.
Second level maneuvers. Bloodseek. Detect heartbeat from living creatures, even through darkness.
Basically, this is your free blind sense.
Distracting spray. Counter a piercing or slashing attack by spray. Oh, you can pull a Dio.
Yep. I was thinking more like a horned lizard where your eyes just squirt blood into their face.
Let's see.
Wait, why don't we let Fish do a few?
Okay, go ahead.
Unfair.
So we got Quicken Blood, which gives you the benefit of... Wait a minute, do I have to skip one?
No, you're right.
You were right there. You were right.
Okay, we got this Quicken Blood. It gives you haste for 1 round, which is, I'm going to look at it in more detail real quick. Okay, well, that's a simple one. That's literally what it says.
That's
there was
actually
no point
pretty
in
fair.
looking.
That's pretty fair.
I expected to find some nonsense when I looked deeper.
Yeah, like 1 round per initiator level, so...
It just in parentheses per initiator level. River of Blood. What a great name. Ooh. Spray a stream of blood to push your enemies and bludgeon them with hemoglobin.
Well, no, they spelled hemoglobin
literally just
wrong.
I'm just imagining he just slits his wrist and just all the blood just pumps out into them.
Oh, fuck. I'm looking at it right now. River of Blood. As a part of this maneuver, you cut yourself, dealing 1 point of damage,
I was right! Oh my god, I was right!
and release a powerful jet of blood from the wound. The blood spray extends out in a line for 60 feet,
Why
dealing
was I right? Why was I
Amazing.
right about the joke?
1d4 non-lethal damage per 2 initiator levels. To
Ah,
any
this-
creature, no save. Just casually do. I think it's like every 3 levels. Just casually do. Oh, I don't fucking know. Like
and
64
also
non-lethal damage.
the bottom part. The river of blood typically produces 60 gallons of blood for a medium-sized creature in 1 round.
What?
It can be used to put out fires. You can use it to put out fires as well.
No, you forgot my favorite part. You can bull rush creatures too with it.
Okay.
So what you're saying? So what it's implying is that this force of blood has the force of a fucking fire hose.
Yes, and you somehow don't die.
I'd love to play like a blood fireman. He just puts out fire with his blood.
I was
That'd
thinking
be
more
so
like
stupid.
an entertaining clown, like a jester that has blood feast, and that's one of his party tricks for children. Like he pulls out a butter knife, he fake cuts himself, and a big fucking jet of blood squirts out.
No, he flings himself up into the air. Like what was the Mario game where you have the pump thingy?
Oh, like Sunshine.
Yeah.
You're like
With
Soldier
blood.
from TF2, but with
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Spray of red mist. Your attacks cause high pressure blood to burst from your target's body. If they die, blood
If
sprays
they die,
into
wait,
your
does this
brains.
have? Is this a save or die? Make a normal melee attack.
Oh my god! Listen to the quote for this. My blood. He punched out all my blood.
That's from Team Fortress 2.
All of them are from video game quotes. Like the Bloodhound is blood. Hope this isn't Chris's blood.
Okay, Adam. It's not a save or die, but since it's only level 2 spell, it kind of is because you take a fort save, and if you fail, you take 1d6 damage per initiator level up to max 10d6.
Yeah, and at the point you get this, and you only need 1 Blood Feast maneuver, and you get it at level 2. Basically, 3d6 damage per failed fort save.
Could you imagine how deadly someone with AIDS is with the Blood Feast martial maneuvers?
I'm just now imagining that Dominator class with Blood Feast. Just maximum awful.
Oh.
Third level maneuvers. Blood puppet. Strike. Animates puddles of blood into oozes or jerk around living as opponents.
I saw Avatar The Last Airbender's Bloodbender episode. Let me see what the saving requirements for this are.
Concentration, fortitude. Again.
Yep, and they lose control. He gives examples of how much blood it would take to make certain sized blood oozes.
Poor bathtubs of blood.
86 damage, Jesus Christ. Well, remember, he also has that ability to shoot out 60 gallons of blood from his hand.
So you can make a
gargantuan-sized blood golem.
Oh, also listen to this. The ooze has a speed of 20 feet and can make 1 slam attack per round. It uses your base attack bonus and con modifier for its attack and damage.
Jesus!
This is only level 3, and you only need 1 maneuver to get.
That is completely broken because if you were actually
you'd be level 5 at this point, and you could just summon a fucking gargantuan blood golem.
If you actually wanted to focus on this, you would only have 2 fucking stats that matter at all: con and charisma.
Just be lucky that in the we have a Wednesday game. Just be lucky I didn't make Dogav use fucking blood magics like this.
Anyway,
I will give 1 point. At least it says that you have to be 17th level or higher to make a colossal blood ooze.
Oh, they do have initiator levels. Okay.
So there is basic competence.
Yeah, but remember the thing it pointed out. Your base attack bonus and con bonus still applies bonuses to attack and damage. It doesn't matter if it's a fucking tiny puddle.
I'm just also making sure that you can only make 1 at a time. It doesn't look like you can, so you could still just make like, I don't know, fucking 10 or so of these oozes.
per
Oh,
concentration.
it's only one time.
apparently.
Okay, so I think you can only make the one. Okay, that's
It's
a
a
little
concentration spell, yeah.
more. Okay, that's not as bad. Whew, for a minute there, I thought that it was going to just be even worse.
But no, there's basic competence.
Also, if you didn't think this was bad enough, you know how Barbarian is one of the best martial classes because they have Rage?
Yeah, Bloodthirst.
Someone else.
Oh, you basically get Frenzy, but without being uncontrollable, by the way. Because when you enter the Bloodthirst stance, you gain the +4 Strength and Dex, basically the Barbarian, and then you get another +2 Strength and Dex and Will after the end of the turn.
For 5 turns.
Gee.
At the end of 5 rounds. Oh, you get it each round too.
Yeah, so as it says, at the end of your 5th round, you get +12 Strength and Dex and +6 to your Will saves.
Fucking hell! And I thought that my build.
Wait a minute. From the way I'm reading this, at the end of the 5th round, you automatically become fatigued, but it doesn't say the effects if you end it early.
It doesn't.
End this at the 4th turn when you only have a +10 to both Dex and Strength. It doesn't actually say you get fatigued at all.
Yeah. Man, this is just making that bullshit crit thing that I made for Friday's game look better. Yeah, Disciple of Dissipator, when you have them start out as a Warblade and you give them a stance that allows them to build damage into hit by critting, and they crit on 9, that's bad. This is worse.
This isn't even official.
It kind of nullifies the blood in the water stance, to be honest.
Usually fights don't last long enough for me to get full benefit out of it. It only lasts like 2 to 4 rounds.
Let's move on to the Hungry Blade stance. Who wants to do it?
The Hungry Blade stance. You deal extra vampiric damage with your attacks. And let me look at it. Oh, so all your attacks deal an additional 1d6, which you absorb as healing. And it stacks with the vampiric weapon enchantment.
Because of course it
at
does.
least it's not 1d6 per initiator level.
Yeah.
This one is not that bad.
I will say this. We did, the Diopsid and I, when we went through this, we found out that the higher the initiator level, usually the more reasonable it was. It's just those first 2 levels are so fucking insane.
Yeah, Hungry Blade stance doesn't seem that bad.
Hungry Blade stance actually would be a pretty good first level, maybe not first level, but like a good second level maneuver.
And here we have Stigmata, which rhymes with something that I won't say. You get to heal others at the expense of your own blood, which is the first support maneuver.
It's just 2 health per 1 health done to yourself. It's not really
It's
insane.
just a flavor thing.
Well, I'll give this little homebrew thing some points for like the first maneuver that would help someone, even if it's like barely anything.
I will say
Someone
that
other than you.
the higher we get maneuver-wise, the more reasonable it is. It's just really edgy. And there are some maneuvers that really need to be toned down.
Vital Drain it literally just says what it does. It's just Vampiric Touch.
So if you've ever used Vampiric Touch, it's that.
Yep. Blinding Spray is... It's a better Dio Splash. Oh, this is a good one.
You'll be seeing red.
Release a shotgun blast of your own high-pressure blood.
You cut yourself, dealing at least 1 point of damage, and release a high-pressure shockwave of superheated blood in an explosive burst. The amount of damage you deal depends on how much damage you deal to yourself. For every 1 point of damage, the cone deals 1d6 damage to all creatures within a 60-foot cone. Reflex half.
Shit.
Up to your initiator level.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at this. I'm gonna say this is disgusting and homebrew, but I gotta say, if this was toned down, this would be a hilarious thing to actually play. Of how dumb it is.
Although the damage is not fire damage, creatures vulnerable to fire take damage as if they were. Oh, and conveniently, those immune to fire damage, they don't take the damage. They still take it.
I think it would be interesting to have the same one, but you have to do maximum damage to yourself all the time.
Well,
So
you do
every
have
time
to.
you
Yeah,
just
do
kill
have to
yourself.
do like up to 20 points of damage each time. To do the
I mean,
20d6 exploding, fucking foaming blood. If it was a little
Maybe-
more reasonable, it's like once every 3 or 4 initiator levels. That'd still be kind of neat.
Yeah, maybe make it a counter so it's less edgy.
Yeah,
Like you actually have to get injured by somebody else for it to take effect.
No, Randall. You don't see the way to do this is you look at someone and then you take out like a fucking Vlad the Impaler stake and then you just stab yourself with it.
actually, as a counter, that'd be pretty cool.
yeah, like
Sort of.
and like maybe instead of doing 1d6, it does like 2d6 since it's a 4th level maneuver. And if they fail their reflex save, they get knocked prone.
Again, there's potential here, but it's kind of drowned out in edginess and bullshit.
Well, to be honest, the edginess is the funny. It's funny how edgy
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, red memories. Oh,
You get the Space Marine power.
you get.
It's a fluff ability, so it's not really like.
I mean, the fact that Eiji-kun thought of fluff, I'm gonna give him credit.
It's still pretty edgy. I can't.
Oh, this okay. Let's put it this way. I think we should get out of the way that all this is going to be edge, and we shouldn't bring it up every time because
Okay. Yeah.
it's all edge.
Fountain of Blood. This is better version of an earlier maneuver.
Heart Hunter, you can actually divine their HP totals and auto-confirm critical hits. Which...
That's not broken at all.
If it was like a level 9 maneuver, sure. Maybe not that high, but like a little higher.
Someone's come to the table.
It's
We
a
could do it.
dog.
Yes, guys, I'm here.
This is Al, and we're reading Blood Feast.
What the fuck's Blood Feast?
Imagine if a really big fan of Hellsing Ultimate decided to make his own maneuver.
Oh,
It gets better. To give you my a good quote, imagine if you stab yourself with a butter knife and then just a 60-foot gout of exploding blood smashes the person you hate in the face.
Also, imagine the thing from Mario Sunshine with the water. but
You
with
can
blood.
literally just propel yourself up. Like, you stab yourself and do 1 point of damage, and then it's just magically 60 gallons of blood explode out of you.
Literally 60 gallons for some reason.
Which means when you get higher levels, you stab yourself with the butter knife, release the 60 gallons of blood, and then you can just create a gargantuan ooze to just slam people to death with.
But we're on like 4th level.
I'm reading about this. I'm reading Fountain of Blood, and it somehow seems like this is the less advanced version of the previous one.
That's because I think it's less good. Yeah, that's the weird thing about this. For
The
some
other one is
reason.
only if you do damage. Like, okay, it's compared to Spray of Red Mist. That one, it doesn't. It's the same thing except less useful.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about the Blood Feast. It's not even just a maneuver, Al. It is a discipline, and for some reason, the higher level you get, not only does it get more balanced, but actually a lot of the new powers you get are worse than the ones you start off with.
Heart Hunter, though, that's actually a decent upgrade. Detect heartbeats from living creatures, divine their HP totals, auto-confirm all critical hits.
Yeah, it's pretty...
I think we skipped one. The Scarlet Horror Strike, or maybe I'm just having a brain
We
fart.
did, but I don't
Sorry.
care.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just
fair
more
enough.
bleeding damage. It's just more bleeding damage.
Oh
enough.
boy.
Oh,
Return
shit.
through blood. You can raise the dead via blood transfusion.
Well, the way it works is you can touch a recently dead creature and return them to life as if using Raise Dead, though at no cost. Instead, you take 1d3 plus 1 point of con burn for each round the creature has been dead for. Ability burn cannot be cured magically. It must be healed naturally at a normal rate of 1 point per night of rest. If the ability damage would render you unconscious... No, if you have 0 con, you instantly die. You cannot raise the creature. The raised creature suffers 1 negative level or 2 con drain if first levels for 24 hours before the penalty is lifted. And returns to basically you can pull if someone gets yeeted, you can just kind of casually bring them back if they've only been dead a couple of rounds.
Splatterhouse.
It's pretty fucking broken for a martial, but it's also kind of neat.
Yeah.
Splatterhouse counter fear. Kill someone in such a messy way, you cause their allies to flee in terror while you gain bonuses.
At this level, that's kind of pointless, though. Fear is one of the easiest things to dispel. Like, notice how I say that. Notice that they get kind of worse as you get higher up.
Yeah.
You gotta have the anime where you scare the bad man.
This is pretty much the author going, "Oh shit, what else can I give this guy?"
Honestly, honestly, I'll go with the anime thing is unblemished form.
Honestly, what would be interesting is if there was a class where it ignores fear penalty. Like, people that are immune to fear. You make a class where it's built around severe morale shock, extremely severe morale shocks.
That doesn't really work with a lot of monsters that are completely mindless.
Well, like I said, it's finding a way to bring that on as well. Almost like a supernatural, or I guess an extraordinary. Would it be an extraordinary or supernatural?
You're basically
Supernatural, probably
asking
the
for
only
the fear aura a lich just naturally creates.
or dragon.
Oh, this is good. B.L.U.D. Suffocate the enemy by removing oxygen from their blood.
Did he forget that this is supposed to be kung fu and not magic?
Did he rip off Metallica from JoJo's?
Yeah,
I mean,
so.
he would. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. The one above that also kind of sucks ass. Take con burn to boost strength and dex.
Oh god, let me read this. Make a melee attack for Blue Blood. In addition to the damage, the creature must make a fort save or lose all the oxygen in their blood. For the next 1d4 rounds, they take 50% of their maximum HP and damage.
Jesus!
Unless they spend
take
a full round of action
to breathe.
Breath each round. A successful save negates the suffocation effect, but not the melee damage. Holy shit. I mean, things that can't breathe are immune to it, but fuck me. That's basically... It's basically either the false swipe move from Pokemon or the Final Fantasy spell Demi that you just keep casting on him.
Oh, Crimson Frenzy. Remember how we talked about how this thing gets a better rage? Well, here's a worse frenzy. Murder, death, kill. Crimson Frenzy. If you take 50 points or more damage from a single attack, you get to go into you become frenzied. Receive half your initiator level to strength and con, and add your con to your will saves.
Yeah, this is stupid. This is worse than
Pain and immune to death effects.
Oh, that's...
No amount of HP damage can kill you. But since this is a frenzy, you will attack your allies if there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Oh, Adam, this will give you a flashback. Bloodwalk.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, this is basically, hey, you know that piece of shit class, the Blood Magus? Let's rip that off.
But in a class, in a Sword Sage or Crusader, be a class that's actually useful.
Yes, because unlike a Blood Mage, they can do things.
Talking Bloodwalk? We're talking Bloodwalk.
Yeah,
yeah.
He literally just stole that.
Honestly, whenever I saw Blue Blood, I almost thought it said blue balls for an instant.
Well, he's kind of blue balling us on these higher level stuff. Especially since he reused Crimson Nightmare Strike.
Okay, Crimson, yeah, it's just an upgraded version. It multiplies your crits and no fast healing allowed.
The real question is there anything original on here? Because there's so much stuff that's just ripped
Extract Blood Elemental.
Oh, okay.
You kill something.
That might be original.
You basically create an elemental made out of blood.
Oh,
like
okay. Actually, I'm not joking. The first 8th level maneuver is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Blood melt. Oh yeah, this is funny. It's what's that horrible? What's that movie like Street Trash or whatever? Where
yeah.
they drink the soda.
Melting Hobo movie.
Melting. It's like that.
That's a great fucking movie for anybody out there.
It surprisingly is. I don't
Let's
even
not
mean
even
like
talk
in the
about Blood of Cain 'cause
unironic
it
good
sucks.
bad. I mean just like it's a good B movie.
Fortunately, right after the hilarity of Blood Melt, we get the oh, okay, whatever of Blood of Cain.
Literally just Vampire the Masquerade reference there.
It just makes you. It gives you vampire traits.
Why would
Or
you want
improves
that?
your own vampiric traits. Okay, whoop-de-doo.
Like vampires are they're one of the worst templates to take.
But remember, flavor over power.
The dragon howled as your wound sizzled unnaturally. Before your eyes, it begins to dissolve from the inside out.
Oh,
Oh, eruption of gore!
I think this one's an actual just flat-out save or die. Like, it's not like, oh, if they die. No, it's just save or die.
Must
I'm
make it.
running
Yeah,
out
it's
of
literally
ideas.
save or die. Save or die from a marshal.
And even if they succeed, they take con damage.
Fuck. Oh.
Fast
this is
healing
the-
10. It can
Jeez.
regenerate limbs. Oh god! Level 9, consume the flesh.
Boom!
It's
Oh,
the Vor
God.
attack.
Okay, the blood. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine too.
Jesus.
Oh. The creature is partially consumed into your form, granting you a number of temporary hit points equal to half the damage you dealt for an hour.
Oh, this is horrible. Ah.
It also knows the martial maneuvers of anyone it kills.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, it's only for an hour, but god damn it. I thought, like, I forgot this was in here. Mainly because the Diopson and I stopped reading at level 7.
You also get a +10 disguise check to appear as them.
Because you can imitate their form a bit.
Reborn through blood. It's true resurrection for yourself.
Basically, you hit a dude and murder it, and then it's literally Orochimaru's Edo Tensei. You need a dead body, courtesy of you need a sacrifice of blood, and then they just come back from the fucking dead.
And remember, this is true resurrection, so no level or con loss. No matter how long they've been dead.
I also want to point out that this is the super secret special martial discipline that gets 2 level 9 maneuver.
Yep.
So after looking through all of this, the real sad thing is that there was potential here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually thought out. I'll have to give Eiji-kun this. He did actually write. The only thing he didn't do were the legacy weapons, which I think is a little bit. I'm actually gonna say it's a little bit strange he didn't do that, but he did everything else.
but you got the bloody fang mask, and that's important.
The biggest problem is its first levels are really broken. It balances out mostly once you get past 3rd level, and then 9th level is
gonna
just
be kind
cancer.
of broken.
Mhm.
9th level, mind you, though, 9th level, everything is kind of cancer.
No, I mean like it's not unbalanced. It's just literally a Vor attack. Are you fucking serious?
Honestly, I think
The
this
Reborn
is
Through
less
Blood
Vor.
one I think would have
this
been
is less
okay.
Vor. I think it's supposed to be prototype.
No, it's Vor. Like he's going for prototype. I'm thinking more like just horrible DeviantArt. Like he's going for prototype. I'm thinking horrible Sonic OC drawing.
I'm looking at the bloody fang mask, and I'm starting to think it's the stone mask from JoJo's. It might be.
Well, I mean, he has Dio's attack and also has the Metallica move where he just strips the oxygen from your blood.
He also had ACDC's Burning Blood, the superheated blood. So yeah, I think
At
this
least he's
bone
got,
white.
he's
Oh,
got good taste, and that's what matters.
The question is, though, is he basing it on JoJo or is he just basing it on everything
At
else?
least from my opinion, I've got to say, Eiji-kun, You could have done a lot worse.
No, I
Yeah.
rate this a playable. I don't think a DM would accept this if you try to bring it in, but
This heavily this would have to be modified
the
heavily.
first
to
two
be-
levels especially would have to be nerfed. Get rid of consume the flesh maybe, because that's just awful.
I give this AIDS blood out of 10.
I
Yeah,
give
I'll
this Beppo the bloody clown out of 10.
But what about?
Could have been fun. Could be fun.
Yeah, could
Yeah,
be
it's
fun.
playable.
But what about the Soul Reaver?
I thought we canceled that and in favor of something much more embarrassing.
Okay, so the
Oh,
Awakened
okay.
Chocobo.
I will say, if we're not going to do it though, I clicked it on. It's done by the same guy as the Blood Reaver as the Blood.
Oh, Awakened
Yeah.
Chocobo's made by Eiji-kun too?
Yeah.
This is probably going to be
Soul
competent.
Reaver. No, Soul Reaver. Oh, and actually, no, they're all done by the same person.
Except no, the Demon Samurai is done by Frank and Kay.
Well, that's
Okay.
because, like, to give you an idea, I think Eiji-kun didn't have much to do during the 2012-2014 period. So he just invented stuff. He probably used these in campaigns that he either ran or played.
And good for you if you had fun.
Yeah.
He seems semi-competent at least. I don't know about Awakened Chocobo, but let's get the let's see how bad this is. Or good, because like I said, Blood Feast is less painful than I remembered, except for the vor thing.
Except for the fourth thing.
I think
Round
like,
of them.
it's just you're absorbing them through. It's kind of like a.
No.
And
No.
wait, and I just realized since Albast there was a bit late, let's let him begin.
Is this the Awakened Chocobo?
Yep.
Awakened Chocobo, a 3.5 edition race. Awakened Chocobo. Around various fantastical realms, giant chickens, known as chocobos, fill the roles usually held for horses, mounts, work animals, racing, and other activities, including meat.
Chocobos.
These-
Well, also suits. Remember, you can actually skin them and wear them as suits in Final Fantasy as well.
These
See,
creatures
I've never played a Final Fantasy game, so I know very little about
You
this.
can also skin Moogles and wear them as suits too.
Yeah, that's terrifying. These creatures are typically not intelligent, but in rare cases, be it by mutation by energy, magical interference, or a dickhead wizard, these creatures become smarter, more clever, and more cunning. The awakened chocobos imbued with sapient intellect and personality, hampered only by their social status as beasts of burden. Though freaks in their species, they can often find companionship with adventurers who take them in on all sorts of beings.
I'm just now envisioning Robert Muldoon from Jurassic Park getting killed by chocobos.
Clever girl.
Just
Clever girl.
Got Red Chocobo playing in the background.
you got Samuel L. Jackson saying he's tired of this motherfucker chocobos on this plane because it's a black chocobo that flew up to it. Or alternatively, it's the fat chocobo in the fucking cockpit and it's nosediving rapidly, and it's just eating the fucking controls and storing them.
We haven't gotten that far, but so far I don't really see the problem with it. It's just like Chocobo.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of silly, but honestly, I'm okay with introducing chocobos to D&D.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Let's see the racial trait. Is it gonna be good? Or gonna be bad?
So far, the racial traits: +2 con, -2 int, beast of burden. Their endurance is supreme. However, they don't typically obtain anything close to proper education, thus their minds suffer. That's fair enough. Magical beast. That's
Well, they're
As a
awakened,
lar-
so that makes sense.
as a large long creature.
Long represents that rather than taking up 4 squares, they're like 2. Horses count as long too.
Okay, they're -1 size penalty to armor class on attack rolls, +4 size bonus on special attacks. Okay, that's so yeah. Base speed 40 feet. That's fair enough. Dark vision 60 feet. Low light vision. They have a +1 to natural armor.
I don't think Chocobo should get dark vision, but I'm okay with them getting low lights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although
so
I'd say that the dark vision and low light vision are they have dark vision, low light vision is redundant.
Yeah, you don't need
It's
it.
superfluous.
It does actually say. It does actually kind of say that their dark vision is black and white, while their low light is with color.
Well, because
Okay.
low light, you need like a minimal light source. Dark vision works regardless.
Okay, so they have a primary of attack with a bite, a D8,
1d8? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
and two secondary D6 attacks.
And again, they
Number
are awakened animals, so I guess they kind of.
Awakened chocobos are animal form. Awakened chocobos are giant chickens and thus lack the hands to wield such weapons and items. While their mobile beak and tongue allows them to pick up items, using weapons is another matter. Talons are nimble enough to lift things, but they need 1 foot on the ground to stand and 2 to move uninhibited. Though unsuitable for swing a sword, most magic items such as wands and scrolls can still be used as only need to be held, not wielded, while lack of hands means no use of gloves. Awakened chocobos still have all other normal human body slots for items as an animal. It requires barding for a large creature. Okay, so it's more expensive. Can't use swords and shit like that.
Actually, I know a way to make them be able to use swords. Ever hear of mouth picks?
I don't think he did. So I don't think he did though.
Eiji-kun didn't, but courtesy of Lords of Madness, the Beholder book, creatures that don't have arms can actually use what are called mouthpick weapons.
But I think the thing is, though, if you're making an awakened animal, like I said, 3.5 was not meant for everyone to use 50,000 books to make the most broken character in existence.
What are you talking about? If I use these 5 books, I can destroy the planet.
Like I said, it was.
Okay, I'm actually kind of unsure if this is kind of
besides,
broken.
I only need to use the Homebrew, the Adventure, Homebrew standard class, and then just Lords of Madness.
No, let's get into the thing. Flightless. Awakened chocobo wings are too weak to fight, but they will reduce any falling damage to only 1 die.
Basically a crappier glide. Also, that's bullshit because black chocobos can fly.
Okay, well, we're not talking about that. But this is also the thing. It says reduce all falling damage to 1d6, which means it doesn't matter if they fell from 30 feet or 100,000 feet.
I would change it to glide. I would change it to a glide.
Yeah.
Because that's why I just find it a bit weird. Like, what? Reduce to only 1d6? It doesn't really say reduce by 1d6. It says reduce to only 1 die.
Yeah, Eiji-kun didn't think this through. You should totally have like different templates. So you got your standard yellows, and then you should get like a black one, which fly.
That'd be a lot of work, though.
Not really. It's just same shit. Just add in one thing and then swap
Awakened
it out.
chocobos are very, very fast. At 3 health points, at 3 health die, and every 3 levels beyond, awakened chocobos gain another plus 10 to their land speed, up to maximum of 90 feet.
It's insane, but I actually can understand the logic.
Okay.
Awakened chocobos gain run as their bonus feat.
Yeah, that makes
Automatic
sense.
languages common and walk.
That's
Okay.
That's why old school, because they changed it to que eventually.
Well, you know what's great though is that you could stack on. I know it'd be really shitty, but it might work in its favor. Taking
No
something
level
like
adjustment for this fucking thing.
Wait a minute. If you give the chocobo something like Battle Dancer or something like that, give it something really broken, you could get the chocobo speed to insane levels.
Actually, when they get the ability to fly, because Battle Dancers eventually can, the chocobo should just turn black.
I wouldn't mind like a chocobo cleric that goes into battle covered in armor.
No, like I actually dig this. I just kind of wish he like, since he's using the old Final Fantasies, there should be like one for the white chocobos that heal, one for the black one.
I feel like if it was fifth,
and then fatties. There's the fat chocobo that can store everything.
I feel if it was 5th edition, we could really do that variance because they do a lot of that. But either way, I think he did a solid job. He did a solid job on it.
They live to be 75 years old. Actually, that's reasonable. Some birds do live that long.
Okay. Are we done with chocobo? Because
Yeah.
I want to just say one thing before we move on. I looked at what Eiji-kun apparently has done. I decided to just click on him. You guess how many classes he's made?
Probably.
Don't look at. Just
all
tell me.
of them.
Guess.
250.
Well, looking at all the things, of the things he's made on this site, he's made over 5,112 articles.
Ooh,
Holy shit!
This includes base classes, prestige classes, racial paragon classes, racial substitution levels, alternate class features, and NPC classes, along with homebrew monster races, templates, types, gods, extraplanar beings, environment settings, rules, items, graphs, artifacts, curse, poisons, traps, feats, flaws, magics, and unique magic types.
What an absolute unit of a man.
I don't know what I just found, but I'm also looking at this thing, and I found something that I don't like.
Oh, you crazy bastard!
He apparently has his own icon.
Yeah, I'm thinking he doesn't have much of a job. I will give him credit though; he probably games a lot. These are probably stuff he just figured out from his campaigns.
well, the thing is, to be fair, I think what he does this is very obviously a hobby. This might just be his hobby. Like this.
No,
You know,
I understand, but shit, 5,000. I mean, actually, yeah, 5,000 over about 10 years, maybe.
One thing
It's
I
like
don't
500
understand.
a year, so that's still a lot, though.
Yeah, that's. Oh,
I
my
am
God.
AG the plushie, AG the destructor. I am bringer of new ideas and the destroyer with divine flame. That's literally his own quote.
Let me look
On
at
his-
this.
Even has okay, actually, okay, I gotta admit, this is a good one. Is it really murder if it's also a war crime?
Where's this?
He has, it's a quote on his page.
Yeah, he made an evil doll. How embarrassing.
Like I said, he looks like he just does just about anything that comes to his mind, I guess. But which begs the question, though: if he's done this much work, why hasn't he made his own little setting? I mean, why use this?
He
site
has,
whenever?
dude. Remember, he's made a lot of environments and gods and planets and settings.
I think he would codify it all on his own thing, like you try to actually sell it on, like.
I mean, at this point, he might as well try to make his own D20 book.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
One of his locations is the Arena of Blood.
Fuck me, I'm looking at this stuff, and this is more detailed than the Forgotten Realms wiki.
Holy shit!
Like, look at his sheet. Look at, like, all of the items. He's made so many fucking items.
I mean, regardless of the quality of his stuff, he's done a lot, and that's admirable.
This guy could have fucking done the work for Wizards
He
of the
made
Coast.
himself a god, by the way.
Okay, take back what I said.
But like a lot of these, he actually did a lot of the stuff that I would do for deities, because a lot of them are actually like there's Anahit, Angra Mainyu, Ariel, Alta Wub. It's a lot of edgy stuff, but there's also a lot of Evangelion stuff.
In all fairness to the making himself a deity, I'm looking at this. This is obviously just a joke page.
It's pretty obvious, I know, but it's just kind of Jesus Christ. This guy wrote enough to. You could make a compendium on this guy.
Yeah.
We might have to do one day. We might have to do an actual episode for him. Some of his more choice.
He's not old. He at least shows that he has. He at least.
I'm talking
he's
in a
putting a lot of time
positive
for this.
Blood Feast is embarrassing, yeah, but that Awakened Chocobo is great.
Yeah. So, Elijah-kun, Godspeed, you crazy bastard.
Yeah, Eiji-kun, on average, the worst I've seen from you is still playable, and you've made some decent stuff. Literally the best stuff we've fucking reviewed so far. Which, given our standards are, well, what they are, that's impressive.
But let's move on to some shit with Demon Samurai.
Which was made by... Oh, this was really early in the D&D Wiki's creation.
2006.
Frank and Kay.
So two
The
people
only
worked on
lords
this.
have granted me great power. In return, I shall give them a world of blood.
A world A blood.
World A Blood.
Samurai are men of honor and duty, but are men nonetheless, and they have needs and desires that may not be understood by their fellows.
Like having a good class.
To attain these desires, some samurai pledge their loyalty to powerful fiends, and in return they are invested with demonic power. cruel,
No.
dangerous, and loyal to a force of primal evil, demon samurai wander the land or lead armies of their lesser fellows, seeking to restructure the world to fit their own deviant desires.
Also, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking like this is going to lead to this is going to go down a homosexual route because it says they have needs and desires not understood by their fellows.
It's
Oh,
very
thinking
poor
about
wording, but I was just imagining like, for some reason, I was just imagining this all being read by Aku from Samurai Jack. A foolish author decided to write about a foolish samurai warrior.
Let's see. Alignment must be evil. Base attack bonus +5. All right. Race any. 4 ranks in knowledge religion. And you gotta have a patron, any powerful fiend. Oh, and must have the ability to have an ancestral weapon by class, ability, or fate.
So pretty much only samurai, I think. Or Kensei.
I'm looking at the special and I really don't like the name of that last one.
Usurp the darkness. Let's see, you get balance, climb, hide, intimidate, jump, knowledge, listen, move silently, ride, sense motive, spot, and survival. So you actually, I think, have worse skills than a fighter, I would argue. Actually about the same, honestly.
Well, you get more skill points.
But, like, really?
Yeah.
Samurai, what this dude doesn't know is that samurai were actually pretty educated. They had to be.
They were nobility. Of course, they were educated. They were.
Oh, I mean, hey, this on one good side, this is only a five level prestige class.
It's 5 levels of not samurai.
Yeah, you get to use one fiendish weapon and demon armor.
Let's see what this is.
It's official, I think.
Crafted from a live demon, demon armor must be constantly put in its place, or will think it is the master of the war who wears it. Gives you intimidation benefits of +4. Intimidate ranks benefit 4. All of your attacks are evil aligned. 8. You see souls, allowing you to see all living and undead creatures within 120, regardless of anything. 13. Every time you kill a creature, gain 10 health points. 18. Outsiders with CR more than 8 than your level cannot approach within 30 feet of you?
Yep.
Okay.
This is from Races of War, for those wondering. Which has a bunch of different armors and stuff. So, Code of Conduct. On the first day of the new year, a demon samurai must sacrifice a magic item or collection of souls worth more than 15,000... What?
I'm guessing this is supposed to go into like epic levels or that kind of cash.
No, that's your first fucking level.
I'm saying you're supposed to probably take this at like level 15 or 16.
I mean, the base attack bonus is +5, so I mean...
No. The thing is, you want to get into these as early as you can. What the fuck?
See, it's the price you have to pay to have such an amazing class.
Oh, this is already making it worse. I mean, demon armor's pretty useful, but you have to get that yourself. Mantle of the Dark One. At first level, a demon samurai becomes so tied to the forces of darkness that he can no longer hide his taint.
Okay.
Use better wording. Oh my god. After donning any armor...
Actually, Adam, you said about demon armor thing, but look, after donning any armor, it becomes demon armor.
And they also somehow retain the existing abilities or bonuses.
I'm glad I'm kind of drunk right now. It really helps.
If the armor would normally inflict negative damage due to the demon samurai's alignment, it no longer does after transforming into demon armor. The demon armor generally looks the same with every transformation, but generally becomes more stylized as the demon samurai grows in power, which is not fucking all. The transformation to the armor ends if the demon samurai removes it, unless the demon samurai has worn that armor continuously for at least 1 year. Face of Evil.
Continuously? That implies he's never taken it off for a year.
See,
Oh god, so he's gonna just sting.
The
That's the
foolish
price you have to
samurai
pay.
warrior has not bathed for 5 years.
You know, while you were studying the way of the blade, I was studying the way of the steam.
He's Bacterian from Dragon Ball.
There you go.
The Face of Evil. As a swift action, the Demon Samurai may cast Fear as a spell-like ability. This isn't high level because this is shit. This is shit.
You get the Faces of Evil, Link.
You killed me. Good.
Oh.
And all this really is, it's just a real-life Oni mask.
Yep, demonic visage creatures to which engage are affected. Blah blah blah. If a character makes their saving throw, it may not be affected by it again. Yeah, this is not high level. Like, this is stuff that can be easily just. Whoever made this isn't very good. At third level,
It wasn't Aiji-kun. That's the reason why.
well, yeah, Aiji-kun knows how to make things amazing,
He knows.
even if it's amazingly terrible. At least he came up with entertaining shit like Shotgun Blast Blood because he saw it in an anime somewhere. At third level, a Demon Samurai gains 2 claw attacks with normal for a size. So, like, 1d6 for both hands.
And a multi-attack. Whoa.
You may now choose feats with the Fiend descriptor. Sphere. At 4th level, a Demon Samurai gains access to a sphere of his choice. Doesn't give a link. You may now take levels in the True Fiend or other fiendish classes. See Tome of Fiend for further information. Because, you know, homebrew like this is so fucking friendly for someone who wants to play it. Yeah, you gotta look at the homebrew, and then you gotta look at this book.
Usurp the darkness! At 5th level, the Demon Samurai gains the ability to cast Plane Shift as a spell-like ability, but he may only travel to the home realm of his patron. Should the Demon Samurai defeat his patron in single combat, he is no longer bound by his code of conduct and no longer needs to retain evil alignment to maintain his class abilities.
A foolish samurai warrior attempted to usurp Aku. Aku sent him in the future so he can learn the futility of standing against the evil that is Aku.
Samurai Jack should have had levels in Demon Samurai, so he should have plane shifted.
Well, when they when they brought him back, that's what his girl compatriot took. It didn't work too well for her.
Oh.
No, that's not it. Okay, so how should we rate this?
Plane shift at its in.
Thinking the most technical sense, this is playable, but
Yeah.
I have a different rating systems for classes.
Garbage.
This is garbage. The ratings I use for classes are there's tippy tier, which this is fucking not. That's broken. There's amazing, there's good, there's decent, there's playable, then there's garbage, then there's true namer, and then there's NPC fuck you.
Okay, this is it's not true namer, but this is certainly garbage.
Yeah.
This is garbage. This is garbage or on that old scale playable. It's not very good.
What is this better or is Samurai better?
This is better than Samurai because it at least gives you things that are kind of cool.
Well, there you go.
It's
Samurai was rated as a true namer though, so that's not much of a fucking improvement.
Demon Samurai. It's better than Samurai.
You know, I almost get the feeling the guy who made this doesn't actually know Samurai is a real class.
You know, I know it sounds stupid, but I think what would be interesting is if somebody would actually, we could someday try to do ones where we take some of the worst classes and try to fix them. I think that would be kind of interesting one. Like we take we work with shitty material. Why don't we try to take shitty material and fix it?
You're not ever going to be able to fully fix the true namer. It's too janky.
We're gonna never take the Devourer and make it a tier 1 class.
No.
The Devourer doesn't exist.
That's
Anyway, Frank and Kay, you're no AG-kun.
Yeah, you're no AG-kun.
How many things did this person make? Oh, they
Nothing,
don't even
because
have a name.
the author doesn't go anywhere. Author
Oh, I just now noticed there's like a balance scale under the name, and this one's on the very high balance scale.
I mean, it's not technically wrong. This is balanced. It's not good.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. I just now saw it.
Okay, now that we're back, we have a manifesto
By
on
the lovely Violet Hargrave, aka Secret Gamer Girl, which you can. It's obviously a true woman with a name like that.
Did this person ever make a game, by the way, if they're going to critique other companies for making games?
I think they made like a failed board game or something, and they wrote a lot on like an RPG site.
Two failed board games.
Oh,
in fact.
Jesus. So pretty much the definition of those who can't do critique.
Pretty much.
Those can't critique. Well,
They do this.
I was going to say they get a Patreon, but I guess.
Oh God, I just noticed how long this is. So how are we doing this?
I will skip over most of the snap, but there is one specific area in the snap area that's really just an epitome of Violet everything.
Yeah, because
1,
that's like
2,
13
3,
paragraphs, man.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 paragraphs down, but
That's longer than most essays for college papers, by the way.
There's so much.
this feels like the diaries in 7.
This actually feels like listening to Polonius's Much Ado About Nothing in Hamlet, where he opens up his long-winded speech with "Brevity is the soul of wit." The only difference is, unlike Polonius, this person's not aware of how long-winded they are.
So why don't Randall, you actually read this since you actually know where we are.
All right.
I think it begins with Ia Cthulhu Fatagan. I don't know.
Okay. It begins with, what's the deal with strength in RPG? Stats in RPGs are one of the things that I spent entirely too much time thinking about, and one that game designers should stand to look at a little more. In most modern games, they're kind of a vestigial holdover, plugging in as bonuses to a smattering of skills, which are really the only mechanical thing you interact with beyond selected special powers. But they're still one of the biggest factors in working out a rough sketch of your character. And they're pretty awful.
So this person doesn't like actually playing games where, with
No.
crunch.
No.
You do know you need some crunch for it to actually work. Case in point, the first book we ever read having almost none.
I'm cool with having some short collection of vague attributes we're ranking on some sort of numerical scale as a baseline for defining a character. Yeah. I've played games that don't do that and instead have everyone just pick specific abilities in a vacuum, and it doesn't feel right to me.
So I like this person hates everyone as John as well.
Yep.
Do you like any tabletop games? Why are you talking about him if you seem to hate every single one of them?
Nope. He hates everything.
He hates everything because he's shit at it. So it's his own resentment built
I
in.
like a bit of meat on my mechanical bones, and I like having broadly defined strengths and weaknesses for characters. I just don't like the list every game seems to use. That list comes from Dungeons and Dragons. So let's start examining that rocky little foundation.
It might just be because D20 is such a useful system and easily moddable. That's probably why so many systems use it.
I'm in a really... Oh, it's nice that he specifies that he's in a really long-winded mood tonight.
So this stupid motherfucker's using AD&D, so complaining about a 40-year-old game.
Okay, I have a serious question. Since he even says himself, you might want to skip. Are we going to skip this?
Yeah, we're going to skip down to the 8th paragraph after the snap there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wait, is this the so what else you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Can we do this one?
Yeah.
There's 23.
So what else have we got?
23 paragraphs. It's longer than my final fucking paper to get my bachelor's degree.
I hate this. Well, there's how much stuff you can carry. Makes sense tying that to your strength, but it's a surprisingly minor thing. 1 point of strength basically translates to about 5 pounds to maybe run afoul some minor penalties to movement rating laid out in the
It's not
fuzziest terms.
minor. Being over encumbered
Yeah.
sucks. Also, that's only light load. Heavier loads, it gets ridiculous.
Yes,
And
Hey,
there's
do you
the-
want to talk about how Zazak can lift like 30 tons with his bare hands?
Yeah, that's. Let's just say that I don't think anyone in Wizards of the Coast was ever predicting someone would abuse every mechanic within 3.5 to get someone's strength over 99.
This is
Also,
why
that's
Adventurers Leagues only allow a 2-book limit. But why I don't give a shit, because I want to see this game explode on my knees.
Also, my question: this unit do they not realize that in real life, every little bit of lifting 1 more pound, especially in like long marches, that something you'd expect from adventures, is crucial. In fact, just every pound is pain. Every pound is pain, and a lot of soldiers will go on about.
The longest march that dear Violet Hargrave has ever done is going downstairs to get fresh tending.
Wait, so they've never been gainfully employed? Oh no.
Anyway, let's stop poking fun of them and poke fun of this. Then there's the biggies, where having really high or low strength has an effect on how accurate or damaged your attacks are. Once again, this is stupid. The effect of your upper body strength on how well you can swing your sword or hammer or whatever is pretty darn pass or fail. Either you're strong enough to lift a weapon and swing it around, or you're not.
It's
Except
It's
that's
about
not
the
true
amount of speed you can huck it too.
because I can swing a sword around. Me can swing a sword around, but I have no doubt Arnold Schwarzenegger could probably do a better job of it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger can lift a heavier sword and swing it as fast as you probably could the normal.
also it's not about
Or he could swing that sword. I was swinging around much faster because he's
Or-
stronger, and
like I
which
said,
means he'll hit harder.
like I said, it's all about the impact. The more strength you put into it, the more force you put into it, which is going to deal more damage, which is translated to accuracy, which is the accuracy in the case of less you're doing more precise attacks, more of just the amount of impact you're putting into it.
The one argument.
Also, he's. I'm gonna. I'm not
Let
gonna
Fish
read
talk.
exactly.
He's been kind of suppressed by us. What?
Oh no, I mean, so I don't have to read this. So it's
I'm
not a
reading
big
this
deal.
here, and it's not going to be. I'm not going to read exactly what it is, but more or less he starts talking about how how strength adding damage or modifiers to your damage is stupid because weapons already do that. But by that same token, once in using Arnold Schwarzenegger hitting someone with a club is probably going to hurt a lot more than a wimpy nerd hitting someone with a great club that they barely are able to swing.
It's kind of like, to use a more pop culture-y term, it's like the difference between the cucked King Bobby with his warhammer and their spawn and the spawn of his getting cucked Joffrey, who is such a weak bitch that he has to use a crossbow. Joffrey could not swing Bobby's hammer anywhere near like what Bobby could, and Bobby could smash through fucking plate mail like it's nothing.
Nope.
Plus, there's a whole other stat that just for hand-eye coordination, which has no effect at all on how accurate your attacks are unless you're throwing something or firing about its dex.
Yeah, he's trying to do that cute shit. By the way, case in point, strength still matters, especially if you're drawing a bow, because bows require a good amount of upper arm strength to fully
Also-
No,
if you're using throwing weapons, the amount of strength you can put into it will determine how far you can chuck that.
And how
you can
hard,
chuck
too.
that. Yeah.
This is kind of like
And last
a
but
minor
not least,
fact.
even firearms, it still matters, because the stronger you are, the more you can cope with the kickback.
Yes.
Yeah, this is kind of a minor point, but something I always thought was interesting and just kind of that's been ignored. While everyone kind of thinks of the archer figure as someone like William Tell or Robin Hood, kind of guys that kind of seem, base like, the older images of archers are quite literally stupid, huge buff men. Like if you look at like ancient drawings of guys like Orion the Hunter, he's supposedly like huge as hell, and he beats people to death with a club.
Also, there's so much the fact that a lot of English men were so brawny that they overdeveloped their muscles, and as a result, they started getting bone growths. Yeah, not good.
Yeah, again,
What's-
you need the strength to pull the drawstring back to get the distance you want.
Nope. Pass fail.
I was gonna say that, like, I can see an argument for like using Dex for your chance to hit stuff because that's like your ability
And
to
that's what 5th
actually.
edition does. You can pick either
Yeah.
or. And
Yeah.
I think it works pretty well for ranged.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
but
And this guy has no excuse for ignoring that because this guy has no because this came out well into 5th edition's lifespan.
And on top of that, it was a rule for a lot of classes. You could swap it with Dex. Case in point, the Swashbuckler does that. This is just taking advantage of a 40-year-old system that hasn't had any updates to it since the time Ronald Reagan was president.
Anyway, who wants to continue?
Yeah, we should go back after the snap.
Okay, after
Alright,
the brain damage net, let's look at the legacy of this garbage because AD&D is garbage. Okay, that built-in sexism. Oh, you mean the thing that was only in 1st edition? Didn't officially spread into metagames beyond D&D, beyond 1st edition D&D. You disingenuous fuck. And if I
As he
recall,
literally says, it's gone by 2nd edition.
if I recall too, so did enough research to look up the -4 strength thing that's been a joke in TG since forever.
I'm gonna flat out just say for this thing, I don't know where the fuck he's been, but I know for a fact there's like the thing like fantasy illustrators can't have only think of men as big tough fighters and women as wimpy wifeys. Like, no, that's not true at all. There's quite a like. There's been decades, dude. A lot of time for
1930s
fantasy.
called 1930s called Mr. Howard wrote a story about a person named Red Sonja, I believe, the lady who refused to marry unless someone could beat her in a duel. And she was as strong as Conan in many ways, so that's not fucking happening.
Yeah, we've had a long we've had a long time for people to draw pictures of their big buff barbarian ladies. We've had a lot of time for that.
Since the classical era, the Amazonians of Themyscira, the far north.
In fact, even around the 70s and 80s, the big buff barbarian lady was a
And
very popular.
She-Hulk was just coming into fruition during this time.
Mhm.
Also, Wonder Woman was a thing.
She officially was written much better at that point. Yeah. Even then, and even in the 40s, she was still strong enough to take on dudes just fine. It's just it got a little weird because the writer was a weirdo who liked
Yeah.
being tied up.
But that's a talk for another day.
Oh, so it's funny how you mentioned the 5th edition thing because of that second paragraph after the snap. They acknowledge it.
Oh, so
acknowledge
basically complaining about something that's been resolved since 1st edition has never gotten any more support outside of an unofficial third party.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fantasy illustrators have it pretty hard coded that, okay, unless people really go out of their way to constantly address this trend.
Where are you?
Elric?
There's like 25 paragraphs. I can't
Oh,
figure out
God.
which of the 38 paragraphs you're on.
It's
These
the
95 paragraphs are too many.
Jesus Christ.
You just finished like the first paragraph after
Yeah.
the snap.
Oh, okay.
I'd read myself, but there's a lot.
I-
I don't want to waste my breath on this.
I don't mind reading. It's just each paragraph could probably be condensed down to maybe a sentence, maybe two.
Yeah.
You know who
He's going
condensed
into
their
strength to hit. He's going to strength and hit and damage.
Well, it's stuck because again, 95-pound weakling chucking a javelin, it goes 5 feet and you maybe feel a bruise. Arnold Schwarzenegger chucks that javelin, it goes through your stomach and you fall over dead at 30 feet away.
You get impaled into the wall like those action movies.
Oh, like in Commando, let off some steam. Ah! It just starts belching steam.
It doesn't
out.
matter how accurate. It doesn't matter how dexterous and accurate it is. If there's no force behind the blow, it won't penetrate. Like, just for the most basic example, in D&D, you're fighting a demon. It has natural armor. It doesn't matter how well the blow is. If you don't have the strength to penetrate its armor, you're not doing shit.
And I
You
quote,
have the strength-
speed
the strength-
means absolutely nothing unless you have the strength to back up said strike.
Yeah.
And I quote
there's-
from Jagatai Khan.
Okay. Oh, the most recent edition of D&D finally caved and let everyone use strength or dexterity here, with a narrow list of approved weapons anyway.
The ones that make sense, like a rapier or a bow, where you can aim and be more accurate.
Short sword.
Right.
Short
I
sword.
want to use Dex on my great club.
Dex would be great.
While Pathfinder only just begrudgingly granted it to the Unchained Rogue variation, after releasing a swashbuckler class crippled beyond hope out of a stubborn refusal to make strength useless.
I don't remember the Pathfinder swashbuckler, but if it's like the 3.5 version, it should still be okay.
We also still have strength as a surprisingly harsh restriction on how much you carry.
No
Gee, I wonder
shit.
why.
If you have
Gee.
8 strength, you're gonna struggle to carry like 30 pounds. While Mister we don't got time to bleed with his fucking 20 strength can lug a person on his back.
Like I said, there's a difference between Wimplo and Wojciech the artillery bear. Come on, let's get this.
I mean, Wojciech can lift like 3 cases of artillery shells, and he never
Oh
dropped
my
a crate.
God.
Climbing and swimming, which really any person in decent enough shape can go adventuring all over the world. Dude,
But can they do
not
that
every
covered in
adventure is
plate
the
mail?
same. But the thing you went to, let's go with the most quintessential adventurer, fucking Merlin, old man.
Yeah.
An old man in a wizard hat and robes.
Do
You think
do you
he's
think he
gonna
can
climb a
swim
mountain?
with his robes that are completely soaked in water and weighing him down, and his shoes,
Okay.
You
which
think he's
inhibit his
gonna be
growth?
able to
No.
climb Mount Everest without the use of magic?
Obviously, by big-brained Violet's rules, he should be able to swim up a fucking waterfall.
Okay, let's do this. No,
Well, he
should
could
be
with
able-
spider climb.
Like I said, he could. I'm going to put a more apt example. It would be there's a difference between being able to swim the swim. Merlin could swim the swimming pool, but he's sure as hell not going to be able to swim in the English Channel.
He's also probably not going to be able to swim in a river with undertow
yeah.
currents and
Absolutely.
fucking the stream current. Oh, also, there's a difference between doing this without armor and then being Grobthak, the fucking barbarian covered in his chain shirt and club. Grobthak has to fucking do that with like an extra 30 pounds on him. That, like, to give you an idea, swimming weights go up to like 20 pounds for a reason.
You know, this is totally unrelated, but I just love the idea of like a swashbuckler caveman wielding his great club like a rapier.
Grobthak the barbarian swashbuckler teaming up with Ugg the thief barbarian.
Okay, now this is making me think of the Princess Bride, like Inigo Montoya. Let's just
Let's stop thinking about good things and get back to this. The strength requirement to fight thing through.
Turning into Grobthak there for a second there.
I'm just that's just bad. That's just bad writing.
That's just Grobthak
To
stealing
fight
the keyboard
thing
for a sentence.
through. Bothers the hell out of me. Getting real personal here. I'm a trans woman. Okay, I have this big, gross, bulky, hairy, looming slab of a body that makes everyone think I'm a man.
Okay, I thought that was going to end some other way. I was like, whoa.
Big, tough brute of a man at that. If I want to do the whole power fantasy thing, I really want to get away from that. I like playing a wiry little acrobatic woman, not woman,
Women.
who dances around the battlefield with fancy sword work. I assume this also applies to wiry little women who don't have massive self-image. Wait,
Look at that fucking projection.
Yeah.
He's assuming. Okay, I'm just going back on what he's saying. Okay. So in this game, you want to project yourself as something you're not, or maybe something you want to be. And like, let's go with the most inclusive example. What if there's a trans man, a woman who wants to be a big, beefy, bulky man? Why are you oppressing her?
And also, what about those people that just play because? I mean, do I have to make my Disciple of Despater Warblade combo a man? Do I have to make that cat bard idea of mine a not cat?
Like I said, the cat bard sounds amazing.
Your privilege.
How dare you prevent me from playing Nibbles the bard?
Also, Zaki's a female, and she's disgusting as far as dishing out.
The only reason that Bob sometimes outshines her is against things that don't take crits, like constructs. She doesn't do as much damage.
I thought it was because Bob was a man, according to this article.
Bob is a skeleton, and even then, he lost his normal skeleton nature.
Oh,
Well,
okay, so
by Violet's logic, that obviously means that
Bob is trans Ashura.
yes.
Technically is, though. We can't.
Yeah. So okay,
And,
first we've already established that this guy is insensitive, and he's trying to use the fact that at least in his self-image should apply that he doesn't have to worry about strength ever.
Also, keep in mind that this gets broken apart. Remember Aliens? Vasquez, who's like 5'0", carries the heaviest gun along with the big burly fucker Drake.
Yes, like I said, it helps that she's carrying the big gun, but mind you, also smart guns also have self-support, so it makes it in the sense of the world, it makes a lot of sense that she'd be able to carry something like that.
Yeah, but I'm just highlighting like the heavy gunner was just this 5'4" lady who basically is as big a man as the rest, bigger in some ways, larger than life than the others.
But nope. Mechanically, in most variations of D&D, if you want to be a warrior woman, you take the Brienne road or you suck.
Not
Yeah,
necessarily.
he said most variations, but you just mentioned the newest version doesn't. But okay.
Plus, technically, you don't need super strength if you're a battle dancer.
Yeah.
But
Or a
no.
swashbuckler.
Remember, strong women are ugly fuckers. I don't want to be one of them.
Women casting spells while big guest
ignoring that Samus Aran is 6'3".
Also,
and
wait
bounty hunters
a minute. How does this guy not fucking know about Dritz if he's such a D&D expert?
I mean, look at her.
Dritz is a her?
No, the image I posted, which is lovely
are we
Violet
really gonna dox him?
No, but
it just cut out the picture of his face and the
I was just gonna show off the body. Don't worry.
Okay.
And the lovely Santa beard.
Wait. Okay, there's not being able to pass convincingly, and then there's are you even fucking trying?
Alright, we need to get back to this. We gotta make fun of the art.
But as I mentioned, the most famous fucking D&D character in pop culture is Dritz.
Yeah.
He was a mentor character that wiry little pretty boy, Dex fighter. Well, Ranger, whatever.
Ranger that dual wielded swords and I think had a tiger companion.
Black Panther. I think it was
literally he was a Dex fighter, and no one gave him shit about it. I mean, his barbarian friend did, but that was a thing.
And on top of that, this wiry little elf man was so well loved that he was the mentor character in the book series he eventually dominated.
Like I said, most well-known D&D character in pop culture.
He also came from.
They have rules about wanting to. They have rules about Dritz in modern D&D now.
He also came from a matriarchal society.
Yeah.
Because
other memorable characters would also include the Order of the Styx, which include Haley the Rogue, if I remember her name right.
Well, if we're just gonna go from more basic pop culture, like Inigo Montoya, he was not a strength-based guy. He was average build, but you can't say that Inigo Montoya was a particularly.
It was more dexterity and just cleverness.
Oberon Martell.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The serpent who specialized in quick strikes. He wasn't built like Bobby with his fuck off hammer.
I forget what was the name of Conan's first companion in the first movie.
I think we're getting a little off track.
We are, but this is just
this was just to characterize that this guy is like he's creating a straw man for all these people who say that women or men have to either be the big bulky or women have to be the little wiry. No, they really don't.
Well, I mean, if you look at all the
it's also like he's angry that you have to Brienne of Tarth even though you don't have to at all.
Strength thing gets even worse when you move out of Fantasyland. RPGs with more modern settings, guns are the weapon of choice. And they too main strength. Yes, they do, because have you ever shot a gun?
Yes.
Have you ever tried to shoot like an M14?
But I'm
Like I
playing
said,
Shadowrun. I have a strength stat ostensibly as important as intelligence, charisma, or the one for firing all of these guns.
And if I want to be like a badass robo bitch street Sam, I'm still gonna need the ability to swing my mono sword around and whip with all the strength to cut through armor.
like I said, there's a difference between firing.
And
like
with
I said,
that, you know what I can do to make myself look all little and like cutesy and shit? I can just replace my arm with robot arms to up the strength there.
Also, for what he's about to go into next, I'm gonna be honest. I have no clue because I have no clue how a Eclipse phase plays.
I have the books,
all.
but I never read through them.
But apparently, he's saying that due to how it is that due to eugenics and robotics, everyone is more or less the equivalent of the best shape of their life.
Yeah, setting-wise, it takes place
also-
after it's not really quite the singularity. It's just basically the post-human phase where you can sculpt yourself however you please.
Is this like anti-Wally?
Yeah, it's the it's Movie Bob superior
It's the
future,
superior
basically.
future from Movie Bob.
Oh, okay.
But not as horrible. It's more optimistic and bright.
One of these stats is still the equivalent of strength. How well I can swing a weapon, which of course is something we have rules for. Depends on how much I prioritize that mental strength stat.
That's not really strength of sword. That's strength of personality, strength of will, strength of ability to do things. That's why this person's bitching. They have no ethic.
They have no strength of will.
Yeah.
like I said, I'd say the
mental strength stat depends at least as much as prioritizing the mental stat as whether I'm in the body of a standard human, one modeled on a small child, a genetically modified raven, or hulking massive industrial robot.
Well, yeah, of course you need mental strength, because if you need mental strength to not break down and lose it.
Why exactly do any of these games make strength a stat? Sure, it's nice to have an option to put something on a character sheet indicating you are the big, tough, brutish type, and it should give you a nice bonus in roughing people up in close quarters, but I'd be fine to think of a single trait or feat which would cover it just fine.
No, it wouldn't.
It's also because, there's more, like, he seems to think that there's only one type of big brute, the big brute. There's 1,000 different martial arts schools. There's 1,000 different ways you can use a muscle.
I mean, to give you an idea, you mentioned my character Zaki, the disciple Despater Warblade. I made her kind of like tall for a woman, but she was still mainly wiry to represent that she focuses on speed rather than strength.
Yeah, there's the type of people who like to apply their strength in just the right ways. There's a type who let the strength speak for themselves, and then there's the type who strength is merely
like, yeah, she's stupidly strong, but it's the swimmer's build, not the fucking burly muscular type, not the muscle man.
This next paragraph. Where is the fictional inspiration? You want to read it?
You go on ahead, man.
I think you might want to do that one.
Do I?
No, but we're doing it anyway.
I almost got out of this without reading anything. But anyways, where is the fictional inspiration otherwise? When we talk about strong characters in novels, movies, and TV, are we ever talking about how much they can lift?
Okay.
Yes, sometimes.
Occasionally.
It's always strength of will, we mean.
But none of the characters that are strong, that are talked about online, are strong. They're planks of wood.
Yeah. He does not know the power scaling community, does he?
Of course not.
Brave action heroes tend to be in decent shape, but almost never bodybuilders.
Terminator.
Arnold.
Every action movie from the 80s had a bodybuilder as the
or a martial artist like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
This really makes me scratch my chin. I can't think of any. I can't think of any.
The many impersonators. Jackie Chan was in great shape.
Bruce Lee was a master of his own body.
Yeah, we mentioned Schwarzenegger. We also Predator involved quite a lot of big burly people.
Oh yeah.
Sylvester Stallone was a former boxer.
Conan is the elephant in the room, along with every other Arnold character.
Sylvester Stallone, for fuck's sake, kept his body going. On
pretty much every protagonist in an 80s movie.
Yes, I would say, yeah, even if you this Stallone's latest movie, Rambo: Last Blood, for a man in his 70s, he's still in amazing shape. It's pretty.
But did Aragorn lift a lot of gates? No, but he killed a lot of orcs and goblins. And
yeah, he had to keep going for hours. Yeah.
He had a high strength score, but
also somebody's being conveniently like. If we're not going to mention someone, how about Kenshiro? Kenshiro, Guts,
anyone in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Like even short fucking Krillin was still ripped.
Oh yeah, damn, he was.
Let's let Fish talk about how Han Solo doesn't have to move boulders.
Doesn't. You know who does though? Chris Redfield. He moved a lot of those.
He punched them out of existence.
You know who's a strong character? Chris Redfield, mentally and physically.
Do you know what Han Solo was good at? Shit talking his way out of situations and then shooting people when things don't go well.
What Chewbacca was good at? Ripping people's arms off.
Yeah. He didn't need strength. Han was more the brains and kind of snark and charm guy, while Chewie was there to rip people's heads off if he needed strength.
He was the leg break. He was quite literally the leg breaker.
Literally, he said it a bunch of times. He's the arm ripper.
Yeah.
Was Arya Stark constantly thwarted by sticky jaws?
No, but she was thwarted by people running away scared, and she ran away too to get on a boat.
On a horse first, then a boat.
She should have been, honestly, to be honest, she should have been thwarted by sepsis, but that's another argument entirely.
I still think Game of Thrones should have ended where the books were, with Dany shitting herself next to a river.
Let's continue.
I don't know. That's kind of distracting. It's hard to focus now. I don't know if it did.
Okay. I'll get it. In Princess Bride, was it Physique whose short fighting skills really impressed you? Have you ever seen Jackie Chan or Jet Li in anything?
Yep, no, come on. Jackie Chan was a master of ladder foo.
Have you ever seen this celebrity in any movies?
Do you want Pearl to be a viable character if someone uses your game to run a camp based on
But rock people, she's made of stone.
That might mean anything. That might mean something if I knew any of the characters were, but okay.
It's basically, the way I always envisioned it was a less impressive Power Rangers that has musical stuff in it.
Yeah, I know. I have no clue who the individual characters are, but I know just from...
Pearl is the pale one with the big nose. That's all I know.
Okay, because I know just from pop culture osmosis, there actually were apparently some pretty strong-looking girls in that show.
Yes.
But okay, whatever.
Yeah, they were built like brick shit. They're also made of rock. Keep that in mind.
We only have one more paragraph, and it'll be over.
It's not a paragraph, but okay.
You know what? This is enough.
If you're working on a game, leave rank at the stat list. If you've already got a game out there, give me a way to be viable without it. I'm sick of all these big honking logs because they remind me of the jocks in high school who made fun of me.
You know, if you don't want to play a big hulker, you can just play a wizard with their wiggly hands. Or like a bard with their wiggly hands. I don't want to
ascend to the stereotypes where women have to only be spellcasters.
Okay, with your wig.
Then play Battle Dancer where you punch people in the throat.
Monk. God, Monk. Why didn't he just think Monk?
The 3.5 monk was literally just not even a super buff lady, but like with a staff.
Yeah. Also, we're forgetting about one of my favorite classes, the Rogue.
Stabby.
No, but he said he didn't want to because he said they're either always spellcasters or femme fatales.
There's many. Oh, you motherfucker! There's like 1,000 different Rogue archetypes, and I love.
You think this guy knows and/or cares?
Of course not. They didn't even. He probably doesn't even know about the Tome of Battle, where you can just casually do things like go Sword Sage or like Warblade and just be.
But no, see, that requires effort. That distracts him from posting long rants on his blog.
Like in the second paragraph, he straight up acknowledges that he knows about like the later editions. He just doesn't care anymore.
It's literally just nitpicking to complain about the fact that having a high strength stat bugs him because he always equates it. Like, it bugs him because it always equates to him thinking muscle.
He was never able to get.
I thought the whole point of playing like D&D was was that you could live out some of your fantasies. Like you could play.
He wants to be a tiny little girl.
Then
Which you
play a
can
little
totally do.
Okay, the tiny little girl. I mean, with a person like that, that has
You wanna
horrible
play a
connotations.
Kinder? He's a Kinder fan, I'm
He
sure.
wants to play a lolly. is basically
Let's not.
what
I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt and just say, why don't you play like a halfling fighter? But okay.
You could go halfling barbarian. That actually works surprisingly well.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a Braunhilde, remember?
Be a
Because-
frenzied
because-
berserker.
Because buff women are ugly.
Halfling warblade then.
Oh, I think I just realized. Okay, listen to this. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play a woman who is a sneaker or a spellcaster, but he doesn't want to play a woman who is a big buff, like heavily strength-based character. He wants to play a
Swashbuckler.
fucking. He wants to play a woman. He wants to play a woman samurai, and that's about it.
Swashbuckler or battle dancer. Those also work.
Okay, so I almost just had a panic
Also, we
attack.
forgot about Duskblade as well. That's
Duskblade. Well,
basically-
no, that's casting. That doesn't count.
no, it's a hybrid. In fact, you could. In fact,
But
it works.
casting.
You're not
Yeah,
as
but
strong.
you cast by slamming you in the face with a sword.
Yes. And, like, you could play-
That's
In
you could play-
conclusion, Violet Hargrave is an idiot and doesn't know what they're talking about.
in conclusion. If Violet wants to be taken seriously on the trans woman thing, they need to fucking shave.
Also, this we're not going to talk about it, but his very next blog is about ageism in
Oh, boy.
RPGs.
So panicking over about to die. Got it.
I scrolled down and saw keep reading and thought that there was more of this, but it was just the next article after that, and I almost died.
Ageism.
I thought there was more. But it's
This
over.
is just a case of. I hate that scientifically people get
Oh,
frailer
and
and weaker when they get older.
The next one is about how insanity tables are insulting to the mentally ill.
Complaining about Call of Cthulhu, whose whole thing is going mad from the revelation, of course.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
So-
I don't really respect
It's
this guy that
literally
much.
just nitpicking and complaining rather than.
See, my bad.
Wait,
I'm
if
going to
this
apologize.
person
I'm
made
going to
two
apologize
failed
here.
projects, do they have any others that are still going or something?
They have like a half-assed world setting that they made, and that's it.
Okay, so this blog is literally just to escape from doing any fucking work. Got it.
Yep.
No experience needed.
So, I would rate this blog deep hurting out of 10.
Yeah.
I was gonna rate it, put it out on the ice, and kick it into the ocean.
So deep hurting for you as well. Got it.
Give it a Jack Backstreet edits in.
I give it a curbside stomping a la American History X out of 5.
I rate this. I rate this cock with a rock.
I mean, he has one, so I mean, he didn't get rid of it yet.
Maximum
So.
pain. Gamer girl needs to experience.
Uh,
Okay.
anyway,
Go.
I
I
that
rate
was an
this.
interesting session.
Yep. And now I must consume alcohol to get this
Okay.
ever happened.
Remember that we did see Eiji-kun, and I will say, I promise next week, for once, we're going to look at something good.
It will be. It's
Yeah.
also going to be topical.
Eiji-kun actually like summarized the stuff and didn't have giant paragraphs.
Eiji-kun
Yeah,
knew
so,
how to make
you
a
know.
good fucking story, even if it
There you
wasn't the
go.
best in the world.
Eiji-kun is a fucking legend.
Absolute unit, and I mean that
Eiji-kun did the
genuinely.
one thing. Did something instrumental that this woman never did. He tried.
Yeah.
And mostly succeeded. Like I said, I wouldn't mind pulling chocobos out of my butt for the next campaign.
I want to see.
Not in
Wait,
Gunlock
wait.
because Gunlock doesn't have them, but in another world, yes.
I was hoping we could see. I was hoping we could see chocobos in Lemuria. Or wait.
Actually, they might. I'm gonna actually D100 this.
Oh, dude, you
what
know,
about the scramble for Africa?
Actually,
Awaken
Are we still recording?
Chocobo.
I am. I'm going to live on audience. I am going to do a D100. And if it is actually highs or lows.
Oh,
Let's go with Zeech. High.
Okay, I need a confirmation since I got two conflicting. I need a tiebreaker.
Hi.
I'll go high.
Okay, high wins.
High wins.
So, since I'm actually recording it, congratulations. Chocobos are actually native to mainly the African, which I call Neket,
Wait a
and
minute.
parts of Lemuria.
Yes.
Can
Yes.
you give a chocobo maneuvers from the Blood Feast school?
Oh my god.
I'm not
And
incorporating
with
Blood
that,
Feast.
and with that, dear audience, I think that's a good place to end this.
By the way, people, Happy New Year, and we hope that this next year will be good for us. It's going to be a good year, but it's going to be a good year.
I'm gonna put this as one little hint to what we're gonna doing. Stay classy, and you're beautiful.
I was going to be more obvious, but we'll leave it at that.
This is only the beginning.
Of the end. Night owl.